May God bless us as we seek to apply meaning in our lives from that scripture passage. Let me start this way. This is not the posture typically associated with heroes. Most of the time when we think of heroes, we think of heroes who fight. We think of heroes with their brows furrowed, their fists clenched, their feet planted, ready to fight, ready to win the day. This is what a hero looks like in our world. And of course it does. This is the standard human mythology, isn't it? Every movie I ever watch, pretty much every movie I ever watch, has an enemy that needs to be defeated by the hero of some sort. And this is the human mythology that goes back eons and eons. Forever and ever, gods of some sort have always defeated demons of another. This is what we're taught a hero looks like. But the Christmas story invites us to consider heroism in a new light. One of my favorite parts about this passage that we read from the beginning of Matthew's gospel, talking about Joseph, is that it invites us to zoom out of the Christmas story, to zoom out of the nativity scene, and to see all the characters in the scene. And to not just focus on the little baby Jesus. Oh, God, the little baby Jesus.
Make sure not to drop going.
The little baby Jesus that the spotlight is shining on. And by the way, I want to call out this little puppy dog that is in the nativity scene here at Covenant. I don't know that that's scriptural, but I love that it's there. This scripture passage invites us to zoom out and look at all the characters, and especially the father figure in the nativity scene, Joseph. And to consider that maybe God is speaking through all the characters, not just Jesus. And maybe that even this character, this quiet character, this uncelebrated character, do you know how many Christmas, everybody, I want you to think right now of all the Christmas songs, all the hymns, you know, all the Christmas songs that are about Joseph. Everybody go ahead and rack your brain right now, because you won't be able to. I asked ChatGPT, I had to dig deep, and there are some weird ones out there that I've never heard before, but this is the least popular character in the Christmas story. Nobody sings about Jesus, or everybody sings about Jesus, nobody sings about Joseph. But if we zoom out, we think about that character and wonder what maybe that father figure has to teach us about God coming into the world. Something really incredible starts to show up. You know, father figures, for a lot of us, have taught us what it means to be a hero in our lives. Reflect for a moment with the father figures in your life, or the father figures in the people that you know, their lives. What have they taught you about what it means to be a hero, about how to deal with enemies, and how to show up with strength? What have they taught you? Let me tell you about my dad. My dad is tough, strong. When he was growing up, when he was a kid in high school, he was a wrestler and a football player. Tough, strong. His career, he spent most of his career working in workshops, factory places, metal forming places, building machines that make other machines. Tough, strong. My dad was quiet, is quiet, stoic, doesn't speak much. Tough, strong. So you can probably imagine what my dad taught me about what it means to be a hero, how to deal with enemies, how to deal with things that society tells me I should reject. You could probably assume. But if what I've just told you about my dad is all you knew about my dad, your assumptions would probably be wrong. Because my dad, my father, he's the one who taught me how to respect and care for the people around me who needed it. My dad taught me when he was my Little League baseball coach. He taught me what it looks like to show up with strong calmness while all the other dads were exploding and going berserk and going nuts at a bad umpire call. My dad, when he was my Little League baseball coach, taught me how to care for and understand and be patient with the kids on our team who maybe came from less stable households or less privileged lives. My dad taught me how to protect the people in my life that I had the opportunity to protect. My dad taught me how to never even come close to thinking that I might be anything better than the women in my life. My dad taught me that making grand speeches or making my fists hard, that wasn't what it looked like to be a hero, not according to my dad. Sometimes it makes me wonder, maybe my dad failed. Maybe my dad didn't do a good job raising me. Because he never taught me to fight. He never taught me to clench my fists. He never taught me to reject that which was uncomfortable, that which was different. He never taught me to listen to what all the outside society says I'm supposed to do to be a hero in this world. He never taught me those things, so maybe my dad failed. But then I read the scripture passage, and I zoom out of the nativity scene, and I look at this character, Joseph. Joseph. Do you know that Joseph never speaks a single word in Scripture? A silent character. Joseph, hardworking, blue-collar, tekton is the word. Tekton means like day laborer, regular worker guy. Joseph, who finds out his fiance is pregnant with a baby that is not his. And by the way, he finds this out before any angel shows up in a dream or anything. He finds this out. And of course, his first reaction is, well, what does society say? Society says, clench your fists. Society says, reject. Push away. Society says, walk away from this right now. In fact, society says not only should he leave, not only should Joseph demand a divorce, not only should he annul the betrothal, not only should he leave his fiancée as fast as possible, not only that, he should shame her. And his first response, before any angel shows up, by the way, is to divorce her, but quietly. And this is where the story gets wild, you guys. And then an angel shows up in a dream to Joseph. An angel of the Lord shows up. Joseph goes to sleep. While he's dreaming, an angel shows up and says, hey, man, don't worry. That baby is God. Stay with Mary. Accept this baby. Name him Jesus. And Joseph wakes up with this. Can you imagine this for a second? Can everybody just pause to imagine this scenario? Put yourself in Joseph's shoes. Joseph, a poor, privilegeless, no wealth, regular, everyday worker in a society, like he's just a guy in the desert, right? Like just a worker guy. And I want you to imagine all his friends and all his family as he says to them, hey, everybody, okay, so my fiance, all right, here's the thing. Listen, my fiance's pregnant. Okay, you all know that, but it's not my kid. What would their first response be? What are you, an idiot? Like, get out of here, man. And he's like, yeah, but listen, you guys, don't listen. You don't know. An angel of the Lord showed up in a dream last night. And now they're like, what is your problem? Are you nuts? What is wrong with you, Joseph? No wonder he stays silent the rest of the time. People are ridiculing him. People are shaming him. Imagine the shame. Nobody else around here, nobody else, the angel of the Lord did not show up in the dream of everybody in his neighborhood and everybody in his household. Imagine the courage it took for him in that moment to not assume this posture and protect himself, but instead to end up standing silently like this. Joseph opens his arms and receives with love that which society tells him to reject. It takes incredible courage for us today to open our arms and accept that which society tells us to reject. When I zoom out of this Christmas story, and I start to think about all the different characters, I start to realize that Joseph actually embodies the greatest commandment. To love God through loving that neighbor which is hard to understand, that which is hard to accept, that which we are told by society that we should reject. We live in a world that tells us to clench our fists, to set our feet and to furrow our brow. We live in a world that says if all the voices around us tell us to reject something, then of course we should do that. Of course we should do that. And it takes incredible courage to instead open our arms and quietly accept with love. That's a father figure that maybe not all of us have. But that's a father figure that is there for us, for our example. It's a father figure that feels very familiar to me. A father figure that stands quietly with his arms open. When I think about my dad, that's the image that I think about. Standing quietly with his arms open, no matter what. What an invitation for all of us. Not just as we walk into this Christmas season, but as we walk into the upcoming year, in a world around us that is shouting at us constantly to reject, shouting at us constantly to fight, shouting at us constantly to put up our fists, to instead walk into our everyday with our arms open. Joseph opened his arms and quietly loved. And we get to do the same thing.